I'm Scott Al Miller. This is my life living in Leon, Nicaragua, and as some of you know, we have a new mother cat and 3 baby kittens, all of whom are already spoken for because they're so freaking adorable living in the French drain in front of our garage. The mother has been living in our house for a little while. We call her Fritter, so of course the babies are the buñuelos, which is the Spanish for fritters, and they're adorable. And today we had a little run-in where my dogs managed to escape, tried to kill the mother cat. The babies were safely away. The mother cat got away and got up a tree, but not before Liesl got in between the Boston Terrier and the mother cat and got bitten and scratched, and so needs to be treated for rabies because this is an outdoor cat. So we know that there's been a number of news articles over the last few years claiming that there's no treatment for or care for rabies here in Nicaragua. So we're going to let you know exactly what happened when my 16-year-old was exposed to an outdoor wild cat, for a better term, although she's very, very domesticated and friendly, and how that played out right after the book. So very specifically, here in the city of Leon, there was a claim about 2 or 3 years ago that was run in an Australian newspaper, which of course is now completely discredited because we were able to look up that all of its sources were fake. It shows what passes for news in some parts of the world, but they ran a news article that a girl with no name staying at a hostel with no name in a part of Leon near downtown, which only leaves about a dozen places at most, had an exposure to a cat that lived in the hostel. They made the wild claim that not only was she unable to get treatment here in Nicaragua, but that no country nearby was able to handle her, and she had to be flown to Australia or to Miami in order to get treatment at great cost, $20,000 or $30,000. So life-threatening and very, very expensive, and requiring special visas in order to be able to be treated. This, of course, makes no sense to anyone with half a brain or any knowledge of rabies treatments or the region whatsoever. However, once things run in the news, people just run with it and repeat things. And so this was copied a bit, and it was sent to me, and we did a little bit of research. And of course, we knew it was utterly false and totally ridiculous and not how true journalism is presented. You would have enough data to be able to track back something at least, but the claim was absurd. But of course it was made with this belief that no one would be on the ground and be able to actually question it. As is so common with so much journalism about things far away these days, it seems that we make these wild claims about places we think no one can go, but if anyone ever does go there, they quite quickly go, this doesn't add up. This clearly, whoever wrote this story had never seen this place, checked into it, or anything. It's just a story that someone made up, thinking, right, we can make, it's like writing fiction. I'm going to write stories about a future Mars colony. I can make up just about anything because you can't disprove it. That's how they feel about Nicaragua. They're thinking it's so far away, there's no one's going to follow up. They're just going to casually read the story, file it away as third world is a terrible place, and never look into it or think critically about it. But that's not the case. So today, my daughter was, at first we thought she was scratched, and then we noticed it was definitely a bite on her arm. So we're like, no, I grew up on a farm in New York. Clearly, you got to take care of a rabies bite just in case, right? And a scratch could lead to tetanus, which is still quite dangerous. Not as dangerous as rabies, but pretty dangerous. And so it's good to get an antibiotic. Now, for tetanus, you could get by with just an antibiotic, but with rabies, you've got to get something pretty quickly. It's very serious. So immediately, as soon as we knew that was that they were cleaning her arm here at the, and she's fine, right? It wasn't like a big thing. She's like, oh, I seem to be bleeding, right? And so they're like, okay, we got to get her to the hospital. So we didn't need to call an ambulance. My wife was right around the corner with the car. She ran back to the house. She was here within 5 minutes, right? An ambulance wouldn't have been any faster. Picked Liesl up. And what's great here is, now one thing that's great is both Ida and Marcela were here. So they knew exactly what to do, where to go for local health. We would have done the same thing, but we would have been less sure about it, right? We've lived here long enough that we know exactly where to go, probably what to do. My driver probably would have known what to do, but having them here, they're like, yes, this is what to do. And I reached out to a friend who's a doctor, and he confirmed that it was the right thing to do all in this couple of minutes that we had. So we had a lot of assurance that we're doing the right thing. We know where to go. But Many of you know I live not in León, the city. I live in the metropolitan area. I actually live out west in Sutiava, which is kind of, I say this a lot, it's like a satellite city, a binary city. So if you're used to Dallas, Fort Worth, we're like the Fort Worth of that pair. It's a little less expensive, a little bit more rural, older, and so forth. So we're a little bit west of the city. It is León proper that has the giant new medical facility. And of course, you know, they have everything there, right? They've got the cardiac units, the oncology units. Of course, they have whatever medicine is going to be available in the region, which the foreign papers like to claim does not include rabies medication, but they have absolutely everything there. I mean, we're ranked #1 healthcare in the region, and this is the largest hospital in all of Central America. They're going to be able to take care of things. However, what's interesting here is we didn't go to León. We never even entered the city of León, where they haven't. I'm not with them. They're actually at the hospital right now. They went to Sutiava Hospital, as is known. Locals refer to it as the Centro de Salud in Sutiava, but there are multiple Centros de Salud, or health centers, which we would think of in American terms like an urgent care facility, and they're in little neighborhoods, like very small neighborhoods. You'll have these, rather large, converted older houses that are just small health centers. That's so you can get in quickly and get minor things taken care of. Oh, you got a big cut on your arm. They're going to be able to, clean you up, get you some antibiotics, tell you what to do, or remand you to a hospital if they need to. But because of where we are, getting to the hospital is only 1 or 2 blocks farther than going to one of the centers of Centros de Salud, and it's a tiny hospital. So they think of it like a health center, but it's technically classified as a hospital for whatever that's worth. But it does have more facilities, more capacity than one of the neighborhood centers. So they ran up there. But still, we're talking about a place with a parking lot of maybe 12 cars. They have a thing called the ER, so that you do have a spot to run in and declare that you're an emergency. Right? You don't have that at the others. You wait in line. And they do have, a few more doctors or whatever. It's also where we go for our health checkups. The little centers don't normally do that, but the little remote hospitals do. So they went there, and they're within minutes, before I could even really talk about it or anything, they're already getting her stuff cleaned up, and they'd already confirmed that they had the rabies vaccine there for her. So she's getting the rabies vaccine without leaving the neighborhood. Not only did she not have to leave the city, she didn't, so the claims from the foreign press, you have to go to another country, a far away country by flight? No. Of course they have rabies vaccines in Guatemala, in Mexico, in Costa Rica, in Panama. We don't have to go very far for all of our neighbors to have rabies vaccines. But here, we didn't even have to go to Managua, that's 2 hours away to get it? No, absolutely not. We didn't even have to go into León to get it, which of course León would have it. We were able to get it in our little indigenous community here in Sutiava. That simple. So the entire car drive was maybe 5 minutes. I can walk to the Center de Salud, to the Sutiava Hospital. It takes me about, I want to say 40 minutes, I think, on foot to get there, to give you an idea of how close this is. And of course, as people always ask, as foreigners, what kind of insurance do you have? What do you do? How do you use the public hospitals and so forth? And remember, this is the public Sutiava Hospital, definitely not a private facility. The nearest private facility is not physically that far, but as a drive, it's probably closer to 45 minutes because you have to go way out and around. It's actually, I'm kind of looking at it right here. As the crow flies, I could be there in probably 15 minutes by car, but you have to drive really far around to actually physically get there because of the way the roads go. So it's not very useful until they put in a new road over here, which I hope they do, but it's a long way off because it needs a bridge. If it didn't need the bridge, it would already be there, but it does need a bridge, and it's not been maintained, so there's a walking path. I could walk to it relatively directly, but I couldn't drive there. At least maybe with a 4x4 we could figure out some way. So definitely no private facility that we're going to run to, but we've got multiple public ones that are right here. So she went to the public hospital. They took her right in. They had her being cleaned up within 5 minutes for sure, and is getting the shot right there. Because it's a public hospital, one, we have no insurance. There's no such thing as insurance for the standard public hospital system, because two, it's completely free. There's no charges whatsoever for care at the public hospital. So she's able to, or has been able to, go there and for completely free, go right through the ER, get immediate treatment, and get the rabies vaccine right here in town. Didn't even have to leave our barrio. So absolutely fantastic. Great how quickly they handled everything. That it's free is just amazing. That as foreigners, we're just part of the system, that we're able to participate, and all that just works. And she's being very brave. She's like, I want to go to the hospital, which a lot of, she's 16, so she's not like terrified of the hospital or anything, but a lot of teenagers would be like, I'd really like, can I avoid this? Is this something that I really need to do? She's like, no, I would like to go to the hospital and get my rabies treatment. So she's going now, and then she needs to go back in mid-January for her second treatment of that, because it is a series that you have to do, but she's getting that right now. And so that was not a big story, but a little bit of interest. People are always interested in how does actual healthcare things play out in the real world. And so this is Friday that this happened, about at noon, and she'll be back here by 1:30 or so, with the whole thing being over and done with. So that was our experience. Free, amazing healthcare once again here in Nicaragua. As a foreigner or as a local, just the system. It can be a little confusing, can be a little obtuse. It is definitely not what we're used to in North America. So some of the processes, some of the approaches, some of the things you might that locals just assume everyone knows that this is just how it works, can sometimes catch us off guard. Where do you go? Like, there's this hospital hiding in the barrio. If you didn't do your research ahead of time, you may not realize that we had one just several blocks away, probably 15 blocks away. But that it's so close is incredibly handy, in that we had the knowledge that likely it would have the facilities for that. And then, Ida and Marcela, like, of course that one's of course big enough to have rabies. Definitely go there. And they did. So those aren't things that you can look up online or anything. So a little bit of that knowledge goes a long way, but knowing that those are things to research ahead of time, to be ready with that kind of information, know where to go, how to get there, how to park and stuff, can save you critical minutes in case of a real emergency. So those are good things to know. But in knowing those things, we're consistently finding that the healthcare system here, as it plays, like, it's ranked #1 in the region, but on the ground actually experiencing it, we see why it's #1 in the region consistently. So thank you so much for joining me. Like and subscribe. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Scott Allen Miller. Helps pay for all the licensing and cameras and stuff it takes to do this show. And we're hoping to get out this weekend and show some of the Leon Capital of Catholicism event that is going on. And as always, if you have questions or comments, get down there in the comment section and say that. If you have more information that you would like to find, look down in the episode notes, the episodic notes just below. There's information on how to contact me, my social media, how to sponsor the show, how to join the show, how to get on the Buy Me a Coffee, links to everything, how to sponsor Marcela, my producer, with her GoFundMe for Hodgkin's lymphoma, how to send in a video of yourself with questions, which we love when you guys do that, like we had from our gemologist the other day on the beer episode. And with that, I will see all of you tomorrow.